So we're live on Instagram now. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So,
sorry, Mercy, do you want me to do something with Instagram as well? Because I don't actually see the live button.
yeah. So you can now click now to join on Instagram live.
Let me have a look. Let me try that again. That's not working. Why is that not working? Let me try it again.
It's okay. Hello, who is live? 2 people are already live. Just drop your name. I'll recognize you in a little bit. Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
So, I'm there on Instagram as well. I just needed to refresh.
Okay. We're good. So I need to put this picture here. Hello, everyone. Okay, so you can request to join the live broadcast now. Glaudia?
Sorry?
You can request to join live. You're live on Instagram now, so you can request to join live.
Okay, let me have a look. Live. I can. Oh, there you go. Yep. Sent requests. Sorry.
Awesome. So I've accepted you, so you'll accept back. So that's good.
Yeah, and there I am, I think. Does the camera all work okay? Let me have a look. Yeah.
It's loading up.
Cool.
Hold on. Oh, Lord, I'm not sorry. I had to change to my Wi-Fi at home.
No problem.
Your camera is facing that way, so you're upside down. So you might need to sort that out.
Well, I just tried to do the other way. Let me have a look if I can do it the other way. Let me have a look.
Oh, sugar, you'll be fine.
Let's have a look. Is this better?
No, it's still sideways. So if you can make it straight, so you're.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Let me have a look. I need to position it in the right. This should be okay now.
Perfect. But when you bring it down, because I see half of your head, not so much of your full head.
Let's have a look. Is that better?
Yes, much better. So we're going to start now in like 1 minute. Guys, we still have to do the technical things to like get everything sorted. So we're streaming live on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. So if you want to join us on either of the platform, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so if you're live, hi Grace. So I'm displaying your face. I'm displaying Grace Johnson. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. You're just a rock star. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, so 4 people are online. If you can drop a hi, that would be amazing. So I'll acknowledge you guys. Thank you so much. I'm trying to drop in another group. Okay. So Glaudia, thank you so much for coming today. I'm going to try to introduce you in like 1 minute. In 1 minute, I will introduce you. So just give me 1 second. It's loading up. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate all of you for taking the time. I appreciate this is a time for us to always learn. So Glaudia is a professional Scrum Master, and ICAgile Authorized Instructor. So when they say professional Scrum Master, she's gone through the ringer to get to this point, yeah? So she's a professional Scrum Master with Scrum.org. She's an accredited Kanban Trainer, AKT, she's certified in DevOps, and she's, maybe you tell us what a DOI is. trainer, certified facilitator of Lego Serious Play. We all remember Lego. Unfortunately, they were not easily transformed. They've gone down, which is sad news to a lot of the people that work there. She believes in continuous learning and improvement, facilitating workshop and promoting Agile's best practice method. And she's very passionate. She's a giver, and I'm very grateful that I have the honor of having her on board. So, hi, Franca. Let me just drop your name. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Franca. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with tell us about yourself first. So this session is about Untold Story. You all know me. So today it's not about me. It's about us talking about our untold stories. Because when you're in a professional setting, it's all professional. It's all work. You can't relate to those type of stories. So the goal is for you to be able to relate and connect with who we are and what makes us who we are. Because that's the real story that is not being shared. So I'll hand over to you. Just tell us who you are in your own words. Get people to know you.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Mercy. So I'm really excited to be here. So yeah, like I said, my name is Glaudia. It's on the screen. I'm half Dutch, half Italian, so hence my surname. And I currently live in the UK. So I moved to the UK in 2004, I think. So I moved with my dog and 2 cats, and I'm still stuck here. No, I'm enjoying it in the UK. That sounds really bad. So as Mercy said, I'm a professional Scrum trainer with Scrum.org, but also teach other accredited courses. But first and foremost, I am really an Agile practitioner. So I do work with teams and organizations on a daily basis. Because this practical experience is really important for me as a trainer. It helps me relate to people, students in the class when they have issues and questions, and I can give real life examples. I love traveling. So in 2018, with a business partner, I went on this research project to see how culture impacts Agile adoption around the world. So we went 3 months to South America and 3 months to Asia, and we visited loads of Agile practitioners, companies, organizations, and did a lot of research. So there will be a book published for it next year, so we're working hard on it. And of course, Africa is on the list as well, so it's still on my wish list to come as well. So, and I think, it's a bit about me. I don't know if there's anything more you want to know.
You said you have 2 dogs and 2 cats and a dog, right?
Yeah, I used to.
How is it that able to survive together in a house? A cat and a dog.
Honestly, they would sleep together in the dog bed. So the dog was quite a big dog, it's quite a big dog, and he would go to bed and the cats would sleep on top of him. But yeah, so this was in 2004. So unfortunately, they're not with me anymore because they were old. But yeah, they would all live together. Happy family.
Oh, bless. That's so cool. Yeah. So I want to know, how did your Agile journey start? Where did it all start from?
Right. So mine is an interesting one because I don't come at all from an IT background or software development background or anything. So I studied in the Netherlands communications at a university there. And then after my very, very first job was at a marketing communication agency. And we never even heard of Agile or Scrum or anything, but we were working in a really highly customer focused environment, which you needed to be really adaptive as well. So of course, we were mainly focusing on print. Back then there wasn't even that much online or web. We just started with email marketing. That was already really trendy back then. So it's mainly print and design that we focus on, but you can imagine that is even a complex environment. So there's so many things that can go wrong at the printer. There's things in the market that change that suddenly you have to, adapt to. Customer behaviors, especially marketing communication, customer behaviors continuously changes. You have dependencies between teams. So you still have this really complex environment. Because like I said, we didn't ever know about Agile and Scrum, but looking back now, we did a lot of things that I see nowadays Agile teams do. So we would have a weekly planning, and then every day we would get together as a team and say, what are we going to do today? Yeah, and continuously, because it was so, like I said, things could go wrong at the printer, or suddenly deadlines would move, or so we really needed to continuously, be on the ball. And if I look at, for example, Agile, you have this concept of definition of done. So if we even had that. So before something could go to the printer, so potentially releasable, it needed to have certain, aspects that we were all happy with. So we actually even had our own kind of definition of done. Like I said, it was not Agile, it wasn't Scrum, but we did so many things like that. So that was completely non-software development or anything. But fast forward a few years, I moved to the UK. And I did really struggle to get a job in marketing communications in the UK for two reasons. So most of the marketing communication agencies in the UK are up in London, and I lived in the south, so it was a quite long commute.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the second reason was my English wasn't really good back then. So I would just say really weird things in job interviews, like absolutely like inappropriate, not inappropriate, but things that people go like, what is she talking about? So yeah, I really struggled. And then there was a local company near to me that actually had also struggled to get people because they wanted someone who spoke fluently in different languages. And that was really hard to get by, again, in the south of the UK. So they wanted to have a personal assistant to an IT director. And I never did a personal assistant job, but I just wanted a job because I just moved. So I took that role, and then by coincidence, that company, that IT, because it was an IT department, because I worked for the IT director, they just started their very first Scrum team. This was in 2004, 2005. So that was quite early for in the UK. So I was really, really lucky. So they started their first pilot team. They got coaches in and everything. And then 1 year in my PA job, they said, would you like to try and become a member of a Scrum team? Because they thought my ways of working would fit in quite well. So if I now look back, I think that very first job in communications really shaped me because I became so adaptive and the ways of working were so similar. So although it was a completely different field, now I've never worked in any software development or IT, so it was definitely a learning curve. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So that's how I ended up in a Scrum team. And then since then, I've done many, many different roles. So I've been like a Scrum Master, business analyst, product owner. Do a lot of Kanban as well, so Kanban coaching, etc. So continuously keep on growing. So yeah, really, really enjoying it. So sorry, I just ramble on my whole life story about it.
No, actually, there are people, I mean, it just shows that everyone has struggles. So you got into this job, not necessarily, it wasn't a clear-cut path. You were not an IT person. It wasn't mapped out for you that you were going to become an agilist, you were going to become a coach. It was just a just chance that happened, and you embraced it. Now, why didn't you continue the journey in the communications or marketing department? Why?
Oh, sorry, you go. Sorry, Mercy.
No, it's going to be the same question. So why Agile? Why Agile?
So yeah, I really, really absolutely loved it. So once I was in there, I really loved it. And there's a couple of reasons. Now, in the Netherlands, we're quite flat structured anyway. So when I was working in a marketing communication agency, it's very self-organizing because a lot of companies in the Netherlands are quite flat structured. I'm not saying all, but mostly. So I really like that. So in Agile, self-organizing teams is a massive aspect. And I absolutely love that. And I would even go so far saying, I don't even just love it, I really need it. I get really, if somebody starts micromanaging me, if I work in an environment which is very command and control and people are micromanaging me, it really stifles my creativity. and the productivity in the end. So having that freedom to self-organize and innovate, that was for me an absolute must-have. So that was one of the aspects that I love a lot about Agile, don't get me wrong, but that's one of them. And secondly, I think once you start in Agile ways of working, it just made sense to me. It's like, I think we all want to deliver customer value. I don't think any of us wants to come into the office in the morning and say, right, I'm going to dissatisfy my clients this week. You know what I mean? You wouldn't, would you? We all want to satisfy our clients. So why not use a way to de-risk delivering the wrong things that have no value or limited value? So why not getting early feedback, getting people involved so we can adapt? And again, that's a big part of Agile. So for me, that just makes sense. So it was a very natural thing for me as well. And then a really practical one, it was not my main reason, but I think it still allowed me to grow. So it's the career development. So I think here in the UK and in a lot of other countries as well, more and more companies are moving to Agile ways of working. So it's actually also a really good career choice. So since my start in 2005, I never had trouble finding a job here in the UK. I appreciate that will be different maybe for other people, but you know, it depends on the circumstances. But it for me personally, I always was given opportunities. So, yeah, but I think, like you said, you have to embrace it and keep on learning. And
Exactly.
that's a really, really important aspect. So you can't just say, okay, I just learned this now and I'm going to stuck with that for the next 10 years. Because just like we say in Agile that you want to adapt to the market, we need to adapt as well, you know, in our journey. So I learned so much. Like before I knew a bit about Scrum, but I now know more about Kanban, Lean UX, there's all these extreme programs. So it's you need to embrace it and you need to keep on learning. And then there's good opportunities, I think.
Now you said something that really hit my core there. You said something like that with Agile, the truth of the matter is it opened a wall of opportunities. You struggle to get a job as the marketing comes. But when you got into the Agile space, you've never been out of work because it provides world of opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, can you speak to someone that just wants to come into the space? What advice would you give to them? Because what advice would you give to them?
And so when you say it goes into the space, do you mean like
into the Agile profession, like learning the journey? They want to learn Agile. They want to become Agilists. They are passionate about, they've been exposed to the certification. So what advice would you give to someone that is just about to embark? And by the way, if you guys have any question for Glaudia, I'm happy to take. It's more interactive on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So if you want to join us there, awesome. Yeah, go on.
Right, so I think for me it goes I think it depends also on the person. For me it goes hand in hand. I'm someone who learns by doing, and then I back it up with theory as well. So I need to go hand in hand. So I do think even if you're in an environment that maybe looks like I said, I was in a communication marketing department, a completely different field. We didn't know Agile or Scrum, but we did certain things that actually helped the ways of working. So I would say even in an environment, create that opportunity or grab that little opportunity, the art of the possible, we always say, of how can you improve ways of working. It doesn't, it doesn't have to be like a full-on Scrum adoption that you straight away start in. So start experimenting, start trying to do little things. So get that experience. And then back it up, of course, with your theory as well. So like I said, training, reading books, I think it has to go hand in hand. But what I'm trying to say is sometimes I hear people say, yeah, but I don't work in a company where I can do that. But maybe there are little things that you can do. Yeah. So when I was a personal assistant, I wasn't hired to do Scrum or Agile. But there was the IT director, he was responsible for the corporate website. And I was just liaising with all the people in the European branches to help them with requests. And then that started kicking off. So again, like I said, I could have just said, oh, that's not my not my job, or, you know, or I don't know anything about it because, you know, I don't know anything about websites, but I just did the things that I could do. And I'm still not don't get me wrong, I'm still not a highly technical coder, you know, absolutely not. But maybe there's things that you can do. And if you're in a non-technical environment, maybe it's just making work visible, or is there different ways of working that you can improve your environment, and the people around, you know, people around you have a better environment to work in as well. So,
you know, you said something. I don't know, some of my students that are on the current 3 months. And by the way, guys, Glaudia is going to be training you. Can you hear her certification? She's Kanban certified. She's DevOps certified. She's a professional Scrum Master. She's a trainer. So you're getting the best of the best. So you guys buckle up your seatbelt and be ready to ride. I want someone in the group that actually remembered keyword that Lizzie said last week during our session. Just drop it because I want to display it. If you remember keywords that Lizzie said last week, I keep saying Louisa, but I had Louisa before Lizzie. So if you can remember keywords that Lizzie said last week, please drop it. I want to display on the banner. I don't want to be the one to give it away. So one thing that you said, for an agilist, for you to come into this space, you must be willing to learn, correct? Yeah. You must be open to learning. You must, because that's what Agile is about. It's empiricism. It's empirical in its processes. So you're going to keep experimenting. You will test here. You will adapt. You will adjust. You will until you get the right formula. Whoa, Grace Johnson, she displayed it. Yes, but you didn't finish it. Lizzie said something that was very strong, that being in this sector, being an agilist, that you should not just be you should not do Agile, but you should be an Agile. And for you to do Agile, is Rosemary that put it in the right context. She said, find your value factor. I love what Louisa said last time. She said, you must be willing to love people. You must love people because it fosters a lot of collaboration. If you don't love people, there will be a lot of friction. There will be a lot of conflict. So let me hear, what are the most challenging things that you've had to endure coming into this male-dominated, because it is still male-dominated, because speaking with Daphne, she said there aren't many women in this sector. What are the key things that has been a challenge for you, finding your foot in this world of men? Because they expect us to be in the kitchen, caring for children, getting married, catering to the needs of the man, da-da-da-da-da. So can you speak to some of the challenges that you've had to endure as well?
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants me in the kitchen. I can't cook. Expectations to get me in the kitchen. They want me to get me out of the kitchen quickly. Challenges, yeah. So I think one thing to come back about when you said being an Agile is, yeah, I really see Agile also as like a mindset, you know, and I think you always go back to the Agile manifesto, like this, you know, this mindset described by these 4 values and defined by the 12 principles, and then eventually you have all these practices and all these frameworks. So yeah, it's definitely a mindset. So I think challenges what I had, I think in the past I would beat myself up too much as a Scrum Master. So what I'm trying to say is, like, sometimes people are just not ready for it. Sometimes you go to an organization who think they want to go Agile, or people who do get you in for help, but actually they're just not ready for it. And sometimes you have people who just don't have that mindset. And I think in the past, I would beat myself up. I would think me as a Scrum Master was a complete failure if I couldn't change somebody's mind. But I've definitely learned over the years that you just can't force change on people. Like I said, you want to be able to learn. You can't really force change, because if you force change, it becomes more mechanical Agile. You get this passive-aggressive people just going through the motions, the zombie Scrum, etc. But you can help and guide people. Another learning that I had one team which was quite resistant. Something that happened, I think, with their previous Scrum Master. I think they had some problems, they fell out. So when the company hired me, they didn't really want me. Well, hopefully not for me. They didn't meet me at first. But yeah, they hated anything about Agile, and they didn't want the Scrum Master. It was the last thing they wanted. And so I just decided not to talk about Agile at all. And I just went in and we just sat with the team and say, well, how can we, what would benefit you, different ways of work? What would be really good for you? I didn't talk about Scrum or Agile, nothing, because that would have just been resistance, you know. What would help them? And then we started working on that. And eventually we were like kind of doing Scrum.
I think your network on Instagram is kind of like gone wonky, because do you want to check? Because maybe you want to sign out and sign back in.
I think it's I look frozen now.
Yeah,
let me go on there again.
I'm waiting for you to connect back. So just give her 1 minute. She's going to come back.
I'm going to come back. Let me.
Yeah, she's coming in back. Yeah, so just give her 1 minute.
Request.
You know, it speaks to what Lizzie actually said last time. It really, truly does. It speaks to what she has said, that don't go into an organization gone blazing. I'm an Agilist, I'm a Scrum Master. Yeah, we have to do the Agile way. Yeah. She said, do it in subtle things, in little things that you can actually adapt to that organization. Because every organization has its challenges. Every organization has their demands. They have needs. The ultimate goal for every organization is to be profitable. So if you reverse, like what you said now, reverse it, what would you need now to help you get to where you want to go? Then right there, you keep infusing a little bit of the ceremonies, a little bit of the principles, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and they see the changes, they won't be so resistant. I think the reason a lot of people are so anti-accepting the Agile way of working is the way people have approached it. You have to be an Agilist. 12 principles. Some organizations do daily stand-up, and in their head, they are Agilists, so they are doing Agile, whereas they're not doing nothing, because Agile demands of you transparency, trust. It speaks to all these pillars. Now, I'm going to ask, you know, I'm Black. You know, it's a major issue that is galvanizing the world as of today with regards to race. I would like you to speak to some of the Black, like Lizzie said, she was the very first Black woman ever to become an Agile Alliance at the level of being an instructor. It's been a challenge. What would you say it's been an uphill challenge for getting people of color like me into the Agile space? Because I know it's an open door. I had a meeting with Daphne and she was so receptive. She was welcoming. I told her all the things I'm doing. I gave her proof and she was like, yeah, let's go gun blazing and let's go into Africa and change Africa. And so I think my current students are going to be beneficiary of the deal or the collaboration with scrum.org that I've signed. So what would you say it's been more, have you experienced issue of race with regards to bringing the people of color into the space? Because there are many of them. I know that for sure. There aren't.
I think it's interesting because what I think companies need to be aware, and that's for a lot of different cultural aspects, is like, of course, diversity gives so much innovation, especially in the Agile space where we want to be innovative. So if we have a lot of diversity, a lot of different thinking styles, we get different perspectives, our spectrum becomes bigger, which leads to innovation. I do sometimes see that companies hire the same kind of people because they think, oh, that's a good culture fit. But actually, you get these really homogeneous teams, which often kind of mediocre. You know what I mean? I'm not saying always, but you know what I mean? It's like we actually want to have that diversity. So I think companies, it's probably with the women as well. I think companies need to be a bit more I think they're starting to be a bit more aware, but I think they need to be a bit more aware in their recruiting services, like the way how they recruit as well. I think I think it's the recruiting and HR part, I always think needs to be revived and revamped as well, actually, if you ask me, because I think it's still very traditional. So, and I think there needs to be a focus on diversity as well. And that's it's different layers of culture as well, because if we want really that innovation and those multiple perspectives and that wide spectrum, we need that in Agile. So
I know. Can you imagine the blend of LEARNTOR with myself and the way that I've disrupted the sector just with the people that are going to be participating in the PSM1 certification? It's a blow. And I see it replicating itself on a humongous level. So can you speak to one of the greatest wins? I want to take questions now. So if you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you can drop, and YouTube, you can drop your question, and I'll display the question so Glaudia can respond to your question live, yeah? And if you're on Instagram, she's equally there. I'll read it to her as well. So let's just go. So Glaudia, do you want to speak to that?
Sorry?
Your win, your greatest achievement.
Oh, the greatest achievement. Oh, I was looking at the chat box. I was like, oh, what the? My greatest achievement. Oh, that is a tricky one. Right, I still think it's probably going through the Scrum.org journey, becoming a PST, if we're talking about my Agile journey, because that's, I don't think years ago I would have expected that I would achieve that. So I think that's my greatest win.
So what advice do you have for me, because I'm on the journey to becoming a PST?
Yeah.
What advice?
So I'm going to give advice that I probably don't do myself, but that's why I want to give advice. So, okay, so I would say really see all those, because, okay, so the PST journey is not easy. You know, it's not a ride in the park. You know, let's face it. But we want to deliver good quality, so it's good. But Scrum.org helps you along the way. So the advice that I would give is like, all the steps you take, you will probably need to go through interviews, you do assessments, treat them all as a learning experience. And the reason why I say I don't do that is just purely because I get really, really nervous when it comes to interviews, assessments. I'm like a nervous wreck. So I have to tell myself, see it as a learning experience, see it as a learning experience. So I have to tell myself that, but I do really want to encourage people, hopefully, to be better than me and don't get stressed and really see it as a learning experience and opportunity, all those things that you're going through. If I look like I was doing Scrum, like I said, it started in 2005. When I came in my Scrum.org journey, I thought that I knew Scrum really well. But I think I only scratched the surface, you know, and it's so I actually did learn a lot just going through that journey. And I think, becoming a PST, I almost see that the same as when you had your very first Scrum Master course. That's just a start. And it's the same, becoming a PST is just, again, a start of another journey. So, but yeah, just don't stress about it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it more than me, who's always stressing about things.
Thank you so much. Do we have any question? Okay, Rosemary has a question here, so I'll display. She said, would you say Agile is here to stay?
I think Agile, yeah, sorry?
I'll leave you to answer that.
Okay. I think Agile is here to stay still for quite a while. Definitely. I think there's a lot of flavors. So Scrum, of course, is the most popular one. But you have so many practices and flavors that come in, like lean UX, lean change management. You've got, like I said, extreme programming. There's the lean startup way. So there's so many different flavors that are coming out of the woods, and especially in the last few years with the whole kind of lean startup movement. So I definitely think we're not there at the end yet for a long time.
Okay. Do we have any other question, guys? Any other question? Anybody has a question for Glaudia? This is an opportunity. Some of you that want to take this journey, on being a PSM, you want to embrace the agile way of working. Do you want to speak to the manifesto? Do you want to ask questions? How it affects you, so I can just, oh, there's a question, quickly.
Because I got to know when I joined, and
I got to know about Agile. So Everest on YouTube said he got to know about Agile when I joined LEARNTOR, and all the people I discussed Agile with seem not to understand what I mean. How do I get people to know? That's
a tricky one, isn't it? But to be fairly honest, I think I had that in the beginning as well. When people asked me, what are you as a Scrum Master? I was like, oh, okay, how am I going to, in God's name, explain that? I think it depends. So if you want to get people to know more about it because in your organization you actually want to make some changes, I actually would start maybe with the manifesto and just go through the principles and say this is what Agile is all about, really. And I think then you can still, what I used to do when I go to organizations and they're completely new to it, I do a bit of an introduction workshop, or I talk to them. In the beginning, sometimes I do interview, sounds a bit official, but I just talk to people, what are their problems, etc. So just trying to find out. And yeah, just give them really some basic information. There's so much around about Agile that people can get quite confused because there's so much material online. So I would just still really go back to the Agile Manifesto and dig a bit deeper into that. So the reasons why we're doing Agile. I think you can get them all back from, to be fairly honest, from the 12 principles there. So.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. There's a comment here. It's not so much of a question. Do we have any other questions? So basically, if you remember what Lizzie said last week, find your value factor. Don't try to go all agile. Take a little bit. I'll speak to the fact that in my family, during our daily devotion, we have stand-up. It's not time boxed, but my children in their head, they know we want to do, what did we do so well? What do we need to improve on? Okay, Toluola has a question on Instagram. He says, is there any weakness in Agile compared to the traditional PM? That's traditional project management.
I think you need to use Agile where it's relevant. Yeah. So if you would put Agile or a Scrum framework in place where it's actually not needed because it's a very predictable, it's the same task you always do, you know, with the same outcome, you probably would add waste. Yeah, if you would do Agile ways because it's not needed. And you're not in that kind of, you probably, if you're fairly honest, if you're in an environment like that, most of it is now automated anyway, so it doesn't happen that often anymore. But that's the only thing that I can think of would be not, Agile would not be beneficial. But I think for the rest, I'm a big Agile fan. But like I said, we almost everything nowadays is a complex environment. The example that I gave at the marketing communication agency, like the market changes so quickly, customer needs change so quickly. So I think Agile is relevant for also, of course, most of it is a software development, but you now see it in marketing and finance and HR. And that's what I meant with the HR processes, that I think it's time for them to become a bit more agile as well. So,
okay. For those that don't even understand Agile, just even tell them. I mean, comparing it with the old way of working, which is a waterfall, step down approach, and the Agile mindset, because it is, I like the way Lizzie said, he said it's a heart. It's not so much of a mindset. It's coming from here. You have to love people. You have to be willing to collaborate. You have to be experimental in your mind. Would you speak to, what would you say in terms of comparing both? What's the benefit of Agile to an organization? What's the benefit of not being Agile to an organization?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
I know.
It's for Agile, don't get me wrong. So yeah, I think like I said, Agile isn't of course, we want to deliver like customer value. but also do that in a like humane way. Like you said, you work with people, you have your collaboration. It's not like the command and control environment. So I think there's a lot of benefits, creativity. Like I said, people can actually be more creative as well, and therefore also deliver better products and adapt to the market better. So there's so many benefits of Agile. I think, God, I'm sure there's benefits in the traditional waterfall way, but I think maybe the main benefit is that people feel they're in control, but they're probably not.
I love it. I was waiting for you to say that, because the only benefit is just the title. My pastor would say, you have a title with no entitlement. What does that mean? Because you said something about Netherlands, that is a flat structure. That's what Agile does for you. It flattens the curve. So everybody works together to achieve one common goal. It's all about the customer. And that's why it's actually the number one in terms of number one value of Agile. It's all about the customer collaboration, you know. So you're right. Maybe in some things you can use waterfall. Maybe you're planning a wedding end to end, you know, every step of the way you can. Maybe in planning your children going to school, yes, you can. But if you apply the Agile mindset and know that, yes, it's okay to fail, because this is one thing Agile does for you. It tells you it's okay to fail. You don't have to get it all together in one go. It's okay. But fail fast. Learn fast. You have to find your value factor. So I don't know if there's any question. Let me check. Okay. Now, Franca says, I'll leave you to answer this.
Oh God, that sounds like a really difficult one. You say it like I'll let you answer this.
No, it's not. She just says, Franca Ibuza says, Agile, is it a lifestyle? Is a question.
Ooh, that's a really good one though. It's a really interesting one, because like I said, it is a mindset, isn't it? I think when we come back to someone who's like when you talked about Agilists, where you said that, I would see that as someone who kind of, like I said, experiments, tries things, trial and error. When they're solving problems, they will do that in an Agile way. So maybe you can call it almost a lifestyle, when in your, in real life, how your problem solving is, for example. Are you trying, like I said, do you fail fast? Are you not afraid to try things? You're not afraid to adapt to it. So, I never heard it referred to as a lifestyle, but yeah, it's quite an interesting one. It's a good one.
I really think it's a lifestyle. I believe that Agile, having to do with your mindset, it shifts everything. So it becomes your way of life. You're in a church community. People are doing things. They're not necessarily inspecting and adapting. So there's no room for improvement. So you come in there as a solution provider and tell them, hey, let's try it this way. So that's it coming out of you. It doesn't have to do with work. And Agile has evolved. It's evolved from software development. It's now being practiced in HR. It's been practiced in operation. It's been practiced everywhere. So I would say it's a lifestyle, but I mean,
that's a really good one.
Thank you. I'm following you. You know, I'm trying to be a PST. I got to speak the way you speak. Yeah. So there's another question, I think, it's a comment anyway. So from Grace Johnson, says, your humility is mind-blowing. With all your achievements in Agile, you still keep it simple. That's the key. You just spoke the Agile language. One of the principles, if you remember, keep it simple. Simplicity is the act of getting, simplicity is the act, point me in the right direction. Simplicity is the act of getting work done, right? Is that correct?
Sorry, you were saying?
I said part of the principle. She just spoke to the principle. Simplicity is the act of getting work done, correct?
So I think it's just keeping it simple, and then working software is a measurement of progress. So I think those are the two. Yeah, I think I have to double check exactly the sentence, but yeah, it is indeed simplicity, keeping it simple. So
yeah. I think it is keeping it simple is the act of getting work done. So do you have any more questions? So are you going to come to Nigeria since you've traveled everywhere? Have you been to Nigeria?
Absolutely. I will be there. Don't you worry, Mercy. I'm there.
I'm going to bring you here. I can't wait.
We're going to add Africa to our book.
Would you like to have Glaudia in Nigeria? Would you like to have her physically and talk to her about her journey? Because, listen, I've read her CV. She's certified as a Kanban trainer. She's certified as a DevOps trainer. And by the way, she didn't know that she was caught out. No, I want to phrase it properly. She did not know Agile when she came into Agile. So remember, because a lot of people are always scared. Oh, Agile, it sounds very techy. Nah, it has to do with your mindset. How are you delivering product? What are you adapting and inspecting? Are you maintaining transparency within your teams? So this has to do with that core foundation. So if you want to adapt and evolve into that way of life, I mean, I would speak to the fact that many of my participants that have taken the training, Glaudia, I mean, you heard one of them say that he never knew about Agile and is in web, he has a web orientation, is a developer. So this is exposing people. So over time, many organizations need to start hiring people with the technical skills that can actually deliver on projects. Because you using waterfall, one of the disadvantages of doing the traditional approach to project is you deliver something that, I mean, take for instance, I'm your sponsor. No, Glaudia is my sponsor. She asked me she wants a pen, okay? And I'm not very clear on what she wants. And it's all tangled up in her head. She's seen a nice pen and she's told me she wants a pen. And I go and sit with her and start doing requirement gathering. I spend so much time gathering requirement, documenting it. And I've spent 3 months. I've not produced one single pen. How about taking them in pieces? Would you like the cover this way? That's your minimum viable. Would you like the bottom this way? That's you breaking it down. And you having, if you have to operate the sprint or the Kanban structure, you're delivering on incremental basis. And at the end of the day, everything comes together and it's a beautiful pen. And it's signed off, customers like it and they want to buy. So guys, Agile is not that scary. Being Agile, it's not that scary. It's a beautiful mindset to have to any product that you're working on. So I don't know, what would you have to say, Glaudia, with regards to everything I've said? Oh, look at what they said, yeah, Glaudia. So I'm going to display it. Read it. Grace Johnson. Yeah. She said, we would like to have you in Nigeria. So most definitely.
I'll take that as an invite. Grace, I'll see you next time.
These are the Agiles right now. We have almost 20-something people in the class. So she's one of them. So we're inviting you, more than welcome to come to Nigeria. And Franca equally echoes the same. So it will be great to have Glaudia in Nigeria. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's set now. I would love to. It would be so good.
Oh, thank you so much. And I don't know, what are your thoughts? Let's inspect and adapt our interview process. What did we do so well? That's part of Agile. We're not calling it what it is, but we are inspecting. Then we can adapt, maybe for somebody else. So what did we do so well? What can we improve on? And what did you like about this interview? I think I need to be doing that every time, yes.
It's an experiment, isn't it?
Exactly. So what did we do so well, Glaudia?
Oh, is it me? I thought it was others. Oh, what do you? Okay. And so I like that. It's a nice informal chat a bit. I like that. So I love that. So it's really nice. And yeah, it's cool that we get questions as well. So, and I was saying to Mercy just before we started, I love all the technology. I had to get used to it yesterday to set it all up. It took me. I was like, I'm working IT, and I got like, oh no,
Oh, wow. Okay, so can I ask everybody in the audience, what did we do so well? What did I do so well? What did Glaudia do so well? Because that's the only way we can improve. Did we answer all your questions? Did you learn something new? Because that's the mindset of Agile, literally. So I like to hear your thoughts. It means a lot to me if I can get your feedback. So what did we do so well about the interview? Anybody want to go? Anybody from YouTube, from Facebook, from Twitter, from Instagram? What did we do so well? What do we need to improve on? So are we okay with what we have done? No feedback? Feedback, they say, is the breakfast of champion. Oh, Rosemary, that warms my heart. That warms my heart, but it's good. This is part of Agile. I didn't call it Agile. I just wanted to know, what did you do so well? It's part of inspecting and adapting. You're always a great host, Mercy. Excellent, Glaudia stories hit home. They were relatable. That was the goal. It was the goal. Let me actually screenshot this. It was the goal. We wanted to make sure it was relatable. You can make sense of what we're saying, because it's not so much about tech. Because somebody can be training and it's just speaking right above your head, and you aren't making sense of it. Okay, there's a comment here. Let me see what this person said. Hi, Fred. The presentation was keeping it simple. It's very encouraging, giving us hope that is not that difficult. No, it's not. I can assure you, Fred, it's not. It's not. I've had people that have started this journey with me. My student in the class at the moment on the 3 months. The next one is going to come up in October. And Glaudia is going to be training. Glaudia and Martin, they are professional trainers. I don't believe in cutting corners. If you want to scale, you have to be ready to go through the process of grinding so that your story can be hairtight. It's very important. I don't believe in cutting corners. So the goal for me is to listen to other people. She started off not knowing Agile, but she worked in an Agile environment and she was quick to embrace the journey as being an Agilist. I started off not even knowing what Agile was. And that was literally just some odd years ago. It's not too far. I don't have 20 years experience. I don't have 10 years experience, but I'm on the journey. I'm on the journey to inspecting. I'm on the journey to adapting, and you can do the same. So start where you are, because a lot of us think we have to do something humongous. We have to do something big. Nah, start where you are. I started where I'm at, and I've seen growth, and I'm seeing growth, and I keep growing. Every day I'm growing. So I welcome you all to this experience of learning the Agile mindset, of learning the Agile way of working. But I'm going to display what Lizzie said. Find your value factor. You need to find your value factor. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Can somebody type it again? I need to display so I can screen grab that. You have to find your value factor. It is very important. The journey, it's not that easy. I've been told categorically that being a PST, it's not an easy journey to embark on. And I'm ready. I'm ready to fail. And I'm ready to adapt. I'm ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's my mindset. That's my mantra in life. That's just my mantra. So we all need to find what drives us. What do we want to change? What do we want to adapt? What changes do we want to make? This is very critical. So once you know that, it informs every single thing that you want to do. I'd like you to give the final words, Glaudia. Final thoughts?
Wow. Well, thank you very much for having me, first of all. And I hope it was relatable. And I'm really looking forward to see loads of you maybe in October. Oh, sorry, September.
Yes.
So in a couple of weeks' time.
No, yeah, she's going to be training for a week. She and Martin, Mr. Inch. And I can't wait to have that training, the experience as well. And I'm going to be learning. I'm going to be in the class throughout and take the process and learn the process. Because a friend of mine that prepped me for my exam, he said, Scrum.org examination is one of the toughest to pass.
Don't stress, Mercy. I told you this. My recommendation was don't stress. It'll be fine. See, there's a learning opportunity.
But I'm not afraid to fail, though. I am not afraid to fail. I am not afraid to fail. I'm okay with failure because my life is been revolved around failing, and I fail. I learn fast from my failures because that's the only way I can make changes. So it's okay with me to fail.
I would always say, as a Scrum Master, I think I probably made every mistake over the years that you can make. Like if I look now back 10 years ago, like things that I did then, I go, oh, I would never do that anymore. And I bet in 10 years in the future, I will think the same about now. So yeah, it's, as long as you keep on learning from it, it's just like I said, it's not always fun, but it's a good learning experience.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody's kind comments. And I'll be getting feedback from the audience. I love what I just experimented. That is Agile. I experimented by asking, what did we do so well? I didn't go gun blazing. You have to be Agile and you have to have the Agile mindset. No, just say, what did we do so well? What do we need to improve on? And the reason for this, let me explain this, is to foster people to communicate. Is to break the walls of communication within teams, that everybody can be heard. Because if you have the hierarchy structure, the MD tells you what to do, the project manager tells you what to do. But in a Scrum team, you tell each other what to do. This is what I'm able to do. It's time boxed to that. You are part of the process. So it makes it a very beautiful experience. So thank you so much all for being part of today's experience. Next week, I'm bringing somebody. I've gotten a go ahead, but I need to speak with him. I am signing in to go. Okay, Fred, I'm signing in to go on this journey to learn, unlearn, relearn in order to change the old way of things. Yes, the old way of doing business, the old way of working, the old way of doing everything. So, Claudia, thank you so much. I look forward to the class. And I'm sure that all the students as well look forward to the class. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
But just stay on. I'm going to end the broadcast on YouTube and on Instagram. Then we can just have a chat just to reflect on what we have done so well. So thank you, everybody, for being part of today's journey and broadcast. I appreciate you all. Let's pay it forward. Tag friends. Tell friends about LEARNTOR. Tell them there's something good happening here. I'm not part of the noise. One thing LEARNTOR is not part of, is not going to be part of the noise. We are part of the solution, and we are changing the world one life, one Agilist at a time. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. So I'm ending the broadcast on Instagram. Then I'm going to end the broadcast on YouTube.